Welcome to Bible Night Stories, a quiet place where we explore the timeless stories of the Bible in a calm and peaceful way. As you listen tonight, take a moment to relax. Let your breathing slow down and allow the worries of the day to gently fade away. These stories are meant to be listened to slowly, like a soft conversation in the quiet of the night. Whether you are preparing to sleep, resting after a long day, or simply looking for a moment of reflection, you are welcome here. Tonight, we will journey back to the ancient world and hear the story of a man whose faith remained strong, even in great danger. This is the story of Daniel in the lion's den. Long ago, in the ancient world, there was a powerful kingdom known as Babylon. Its cities were filled with great buildings, wide roads, and people from many lands and cultures. The ruler of this vast empire was King Darius. To help manage his kingdom, he appointed many officials and governors who were responsible for overseeing different regions. Among these officials was a man named Daniel. Daniel was respected throughout the kingdom because of his wisdom and honesty. He was known as a man who could be trusted. But Daniel's wisdom did not come only from experience or education. It came from something deeper, his faith in God. Every day, Daniel made time to pray and seek guidance from the Lord. His life was guided by faith, and people around him could see that he lived differently. King Darius noticed Daniel's integrity and began to trust him more and more. Soon, the king decided to place Daniel in an even greater position of authority within the kingdom. But this decision created jealousy among the other officials. The other leaders in the kingdom were not happy about Daniel's success. They watched him closely, hoping to find a mistake or wrongdoing that they could report to the king. Day after day they searched, but Daniel was careful and honest in everything he did. They could find no corruption, no dishonesty, and no neglect of duty. Finally, they realized something important. The only way they could trap Daniel was through his faith. They knew Daniel prayed to his God every day without fail. So they began to plan a law that would force Daniel into a difficult choice. The officials gathered together and went to King Darius with a proposal. "O king, live forever," they said respectfully. They suggested that the king should establish a new royal decree. For the next 30 days, no one in the kingdom would be allowed to pray to any god or person except the king himself. Anyone who disobeyed this law would be thrown into a den of lions. King Darius did not realize the trap hidden within this suggestion. Believing the law would strengthen loyalty within his kingdom, he agreed and signed the decree. According to the customs of the land, once a royal law was sealed, it could not be changed. The officials quietly celebrated. They believed Daniel would soon break the law. When Daniel learned about the new law, he understood the danger immediately. He knew that continuing to pray could cost him his life. But Daniel also knew that his faith in God was more important than any human law. That evening, Daniel went to his home. As he always did, he opened the window that faced toward Jerusalem. Then he knelt down and prayed. He prayed 3 times that day, thanking God and seeking his guidance. Outside, the officials were watching carefully. They saw Daniel praying, and quickly they hurried back to the king.
When the officials told the king what Daniel had done, King Darius was deeply troubled. Daniel was one of the most trustworthy men in his kingdom. The king realized that he had been tricked. All day long he searched for a way to rescue Daniel from the punishment. But the law of the kingdom could not be changed once it had been sealed. As the sun began to set, the king had no choice. Daniel would be thrown into the lion's den. Before Daniel was taken away, the king spoke with sadness in his voice. "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you."
Daniel was taken to the den where the lions were kept. The pit was deep and dark. Inside were powerful lions, known for their strength and fierce hunger. Daniel was lowered down into the den. Then a large stone was rolled over the entrance, sealing the opening. The king placed his royal seal on the stone so that no one could change the situation during the night. But that night, something extraordinary happened. God sent an angel. The lions became calm, their mouths were shut, and Daniel remained safe. Early the next morning, King Darius hurried to the lion's den. With a worried voice, he called out, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God been able to rescue you from the lions?" For a moment, there was silence. Then Daniel answered from inside the den, "O king, live forever. My God sent his angel and shut the mouths of the lions. They have not harmed me." The king was filled with joy. Daniel was lifted safely out of the den. Not a single injury was found on him. King Darius was amazed by what had happened. He realized that Daniel's God was powerful and faithful. So the king sent a message throughout the kingdom. He declared that everyone should respect and honor the God of Daniel, for he is the living God, and his kingdom will never be destroyed. Daniel continued to serve faithfully, and his story became known throughout the land. The story of Daniel reminds us of the quiet strength that comes from faith. Even in the face of danger, Daniel remained faithful to God. His courage did not come from power or wealth, but from trust. Sometimes life places us in difficult situations where doing the right thing is not easy. But Daniel's story reminds us that faith can guide us through even the darkest moments. Thank you for joining tonight's episode of Bible Night Stories. May this story bring you peace, comfort, and rest as the night continues. Good night.